Slowly making our way up the mountain today. Hill 1 of the Bigelows. And we're heading to Moxie Fall Mountain North Peak. 0.7 miles over there, which we're not really going to do because, as you can see, it's foggy and there really is no point because you're not going to see anything. So we're just going to continue on down the trail. And it has stopped raining, but it's soggy. That's the path. Okay. So we're at one of the shelters, Bald Mountain Lean-To shelter, I believe. We stopped here. We didn't get very far today, actually. We got a late start at about 10 by the time we actually got out, which is really late for us, but we got in last night and it was pouring, and it poured all night long, and not just a little bit of rain. We haven't had that level of rain for a while. It was a pretty brutal day. We were pretty cold by the time we got in and wet, and the shelter was full, so we had to set up a tent, which was fine, but it definitely made for a damp night. Unfortunately, in the morning there was a little bit of a puddle in the tent and the end of Jeff's sleeping bag got wet. So that's never good wet down when it's cool out, and raining is not a good recipe that we want to do. So we were supposed to do 12.7 miles today to get over the 2 peaks, and so we decided to actually make it short and just go the 4 miles and end up here at this lean-to behind me. Where is it? There it should be. And just kind of dry everything out. It's not raining right now. It is overcast. I was kind of hoping it would warm up and get a bit sunnier. Unfortunately, it's not, but there's a bit of a breeze, so that'll help dry things out. So we're just gonna kind of have some hot meals and sit in there. Right now, we're the only ones. Probably will be the only ones today. It's not really one of those great places to stop at because it's kind of it's a short day for some and a long day for others, but so hopefully we'll be by ourselves and it won't be too bad. The mosquitoes, of course, are still thick and all the rivers are high. The trails are just streams at this point, so our feet are just soaked. Everything is wet. So tomorrow we're going to do we'll do the 1 peak we were supposed to finish off today and then head straight into Caratunk, I believe the town is, and just dry out there at a hostel. And then that following morning, the plan is to go to the ferry because there is another large river crossing, which you can't actually fjord. You have to take a ferry across. So the AT actually does provide the ferry, but its hours are from 9 a.m. to 11. So we'll have to take a shuttle back up there and then cross the ferry, and then I think we're planning another couple of days before we hit the next town, which is Stratton. So I think about 3 days there. And those are some decent hills, but after that I think some of the hills start to get really big. But we'll see that when we get there. In the meantime, we're just going to call it an early day. It's like 2 or 3 in the afternoon, and it's not overly warm, but it's not too bad. We're cool just because we're damp and there's a little bit of a wind and the sun didn't come out. So hopefully the sun will come out tomorrow because I could use some sun. I am so over the rain. It's just been ridiculously challenging to be this wet for this long. We had that little reprieve at Shaw's, but that was pretty much it. So hopefully the sun will come out tomorrow. And we'll keep you updated when that comes, and we'll get started early tomorrow for, I think it ends up being 14.7 miles, so it'll be a good slog, but we get early, get a little rest in us, and we should be good. Good morning. It's about a little after 6 here. We're just wrapping up the shelter, having a quick breakfast. We're hoping to get off by 6:30. It'll probably be a little later than that because getting up takes time, as does prepping. Everything is a little drier, not much drier than it was yesterday, unfortunately. but we're doing about 14.7 miles, and we're going to end up at a shelter tonight so we can dry the rest of this out because we are just soaked. It's supposed to be sunny out today, although it did rain this morning and they didn't call for that, so yay, surprise. The water in the river I just got my filtered water from looks considerably down. I think it's day 13 if I didn't mention that. I think it's June 19th. But yeah, I'll give you a quick peek on our explosion in the morning. So this is the inside of the shelter here, and that's all just stuff he's packing up. Considerably neater and in packed fashion, and mine is just exploded. And I'm just going to pack all that up into that all big bag and call it done and head out. So I'm just finishing my coffee, breakfast, and that is the morning outside of our little shelter. All right, we're going to get packing. Okay, we're off and running. We got a little late start, as predicted. Takes me about an hour to really have breakfast, coffee, get everything wrapped up and go. So we're just on our way up to the peak of Mount Pleasant. I think I'm not sure how many meters or feet that is. I'll let you know when we get to the top. We've done a couple of, not water crossings per se. There has been a lot of water in them, but the rocks have been showing just enough to rock hop. But those rocks are definitely slippery. One of the perils of walking the AT is you're just never sure what's going to hold under your feet, making it a bit challenging and making your knees and whatnot sore. My knee was definitely a bit sore today, so I've got her taped with some K-tape. Not injury, just needing a little extra love and support. And I'm pretty sure anyone who does this trail would have some knee issues. And if they don't, they're lying or 12. But that's neither here nor there. So I'll just show you the trail we're walking on right now. So, not too bad of a trail. Let me tell you, video makes it look way nicer than what you're actually walking on. But this is a particularly drier section. It rained a little bit this morning, and the rain has held off. So hopefully we'll get that nicer weather that they were predicting. But if not, we're gonna keep going, and we'll catch up in a bit. Okay, just so you know, this is supposed to be a trail. I'm knee deep in water, and I haven't even gotten to what the water crossing is supposed to be. And I'm not liking it, I can tell you that much. I mean, it would have gone down from yesterday, so I'm happy about that. But, holy shiza. I'm going to give you a quick look at that. This is supposed to be the next. Oh! We're getting the underwear soaked today. Okay, we're gonna have to see what our options are, because the trail is over there and we're here. Okay, that was eventful. Oh my goodness, that went up to my waist. That was a very deep crossing. Probably would have been heavier yesterday. Yeah, it was cold, but really your adrenaline is just thinking, I will make this through, I got this, and make sure you find your footing, which definitely is the key to any stream crossing, is footing. You have to make sure it's solid and kind of walking at an upstream level. But man, I am so over water crossings. Thankfully I did it in my runners, because I would have tore up my feet in my little camp shoes. Jeff did it in his camp shoes and with one pole, and it was pretty intense for him. but we are done, and this is the actual river we just finished crossing. So yeah, we just finished crossing that. Normally they say in low water you can rock hop it, but there was no rock hopping, and it is so far from low water that it's not funny. So that was pretty intense. Hopefully, well, our next crossing that we have to do across the river is going to be by ferry because it is far too dangerous. Thank goodness, because that is a lot of water. Made it to the peak of Mount Pleasant Pond, 2,400 and some odd feet. It's definitely a good hike. It's supposed to be sunny today. Clearly it is not. So let's give you a full view here. Quarter to 12. 8 miles in for the day. I think it's all downhill from here, but it's never that easy. So just give you an idea, we've been skirting along through there. And we crossed a little bit of a river right there. And we made it all the way up the mountain to here.
I made that sound when I did it too.
That's not the sound you made. That was more like,
help me, baby Jesus.
and this is our view.
Send pizza.
All the pizza. Okay, just a little wrap up. Yeah, those are bug bites. We are in the Sterling Inn at Caratunk, Maine. This is where the Kennebec ferry goes from. It only leaves from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. in the morning. It carries 2 people across on a canoe because you can't fjord this one, thank goodness. But normally the water, their rating here is about 800. They close it at 1,200. It's sitting at 23, so they've actually had to close the ferry. This is the first time they've closed it in 10 years. It's been closed for 2 days. So we got here tonight about 4:30 with the rest of the sort of Sobo bubble we've been hanging out with. And we're gonna take a 0 tomorrow because it's unlikely the ferry will be open. The water is stupidly high. We end up doing a few more water passes, water crossings, fjording, whatever you want to call it. Not nearly as bad as that first one that was up to my waist, but the other ones, they were about knee high. Places that really, there shouldn't have been any water at all. We did an awful lot of bog slogging today. Everything is just so wet. I don't think we've had a full dry day on trail yet. My shoes have never seen a dry day while walking. They have at the hostel. So hopefully we'll get a chance to dry out here. It's supposed to be sunny out, although honestly it kind of looks like it's gonna rain. It's a cute little place. There's not much here. It's a tiny little town. I think there's about 700 people. This place, oh look, car goes by. But yeah, there's not really much here, so we're just gonna hang out, and there's a TV room and hot showers and a bed, and oh, I'm looking forward to all of those things tonight because last night was wet and buggy. But definitely could use a break, so we're gonna take a 0. Well, we hiked 14.7 kilometers to the parking lot, and then plus another another mile and a quarter to get here to the bed and breakfast. And today I'm in some fetching loaner clothes, scrubs. I guess I didn't get enough of them at work, so I figured I'd throw those on because that's what they had. We're doing laundry. Clearly we've had a shower. Gonna grab some food and then probably just pass out for the evening, and we'll catch up with you tomorrow.